1470 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. A long, long time ago, Robin, the only way we could record sound was on paper with a pencil.
Yep.
You could record the words of somebody by writing them down, right? Uh-huh. And the only way you could deliver them was to literally carry that paper to somebody else, right? Uh-huh. Back in those days, when a young girl got pregnant out of wedlock, it was a big deal. It was, oh my gosh, it was something to be ashamed of and hush hush. But there was probably no such thing as an abortion. I'm guessing.
No, it was against the law.
I'm guessing back then. But now we have it all the time, and it's legal. And Pastor Snyder is in the studio right now from the Family of God Fellowship Church in Silver Spring Shores. And as you know, Pastor Snyder has a show on Sunday mornings, as well as some columns in newspapers. He's an author. He's written so many books, and he's helped write or edit other books. So a much accomplished man. He and his wife decided some time ago that their opposition to abortion was something that needed a little more teeth. If they're really opposed to abortion, maybe you should have something to give the girls an alternative. And so they had this idea to build a home, and you've probably heard us talking about it, and it's something that's been in the works for a very long time. And the other day, Pastor Snyder, who's a good friend of ours, came in. In fact, Pastor Snyder married my son and his wife, and your son and his wife.
Yes.
Okay. So it's an honor to have him in the studio to talk to us about something. I'm so excited on his behalf. I'm sure he's excited too. It's been a work of love, a work for a long time.
Sure has.
The House of Onesiphorous?
Right.
Did I do it right? Okay, and it's going to house young women who are pregnant and who have nowhere else to go. And your job as a pastor is to try to guide them in the right way so that they don't abort that baby. Good morning, Pastor. How are you?
Good morning. It's good to be here with you.
Yeah, that's a work. Gosh, when you probably first told us about it, it must have been at least a decade ago.
Yeah, to get started. Yeah. And our goal was to build it as we got the money, and that takes an awful long time, as you well know.
Yeah, one brick at a time, right?
Yeah, one brick at a time.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to open up the home and then not have to frantically raise money for the mortgage and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to pour all of our resources into these young women, that they really need it.
So did that plan work out, even though it took a long time?
Well, we had to borrow a little bit money to close the deal and get the place open, but we have like a $50,000 on a $350,000 house, so I think but what I found out was the longer I kicked the can down the road, the more expensive it was. We have to get new permits, and that always costs money.
Yeah,
and then the price of a piece of wood goes up every year. So I found out that it would be cheaper to pay a little bit of interest than to pay some of this stuff. And of course, maybe I panicked. I don't know. I wanted to get this done. A couple years ago, I heard of 2 girls in Marion County, 11 years old.
No.
They were pregnant.
Oh,
I did not
goodness.
know an 11-year-old girl could get pregnant. And then they disappeared off the radar.
Oh, my goodness.
We understand, according to certain research, I guess, that the younger the girls are, the more it has to do with incest. And so our home would be a refuge for someone like that to
And why do they need the home? Are they being kicked out? Are the parents rejecting them? Or?
Some of them. I talked to a girl, which broke my heart before we got the house started, that she was going into the abortion center, I guess is what they call it. And her father had said, "You cannot come home pregnant. You have to abort it." She didn't know. And so she asked one of our friends there that was at the place, "Do you have any place for me to come? I don't have a place."
She didn't want to abort the baby?
No.
Did she end up aborting the baby?
Well, she walked in, and what other option did she have? And that really upset me.
And that's maybe how this idea came to you, right?
Well, that fostered it, I guess.
Explain Onesiphorous. What's the word come from?
Oh, it comes from 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 16. The Lord give mercy unto the house of Onesiphorous, for he oft refreshed me and was not ashamed of my chain. That's Paul talking about this wonderful guy. And he oft refreshed me and was not ashamed of my chains. And that is the focus of our home. These girls need to be refreshed. What is not being told is the younger the girl is that has an abortion, the less likely she will ever get pregnant again.
Oh.
And they're not being told that. They're saying, well, this will give you a second chance. The world does not give anybody a second chance, So we want to refresh them and get them back where they should be going. And then he says he wasn't afraid of my chains. And all of these girls come in with baggage. Mm-hmm. And so most people define their future by their past. And so these girls cannot do that. We need to give them a new future. We need to not be ashamed. I didn't get them pregnant. I can't unpregnate them. I don't know if that's a word or not. What I can do is help them find a new future. And what we want to do is surround the girls with godly young women that we have in our church that would be part of it, because they probably never have been exposed to godly women. Mm-hmm. So that's what we want to do. But now here's the question. Apart from rape, which is a terrible, terrible crime, okay, apart from rape, there is no unplanned pregnancies in America today. Because from kindergarten, they are taught, what's that called?
Abstinence.
Sex ed?
Sex education,
right.
And contraceptions and all of that kind of stuff. Contraceptions are free, Mm-hmm. There is no legitimate reason for anybody in America to be pregnant apart from rape.
Yeah, I agree.
I have a solution for the rape, okay? Now, the baby that was a part of that rape, why does that baby have to pay for somebody else's crime? Mm-hmm. And why does that baby usually have to be killed? Why not take the same punishment to the guy who did it? That's
right.
that's my solution for that. But why are girls getting pregnant? It's our society. Look at Hollywood. If we would shut down Hollywood for a year, there would be such a reformation in this country that we wouldn't recognize it anymore. Hollywood is destroying our young people. Look at some of the young Hollywood people out there. How many of them actually have any kind of moral, whatever you want to call it, And so I come back to this, there's no reason to get pregnant undesirably,
Right.
The education is out there, the things are out there, the contraceptions are out there.
It's all free, like you said.
It's all free.
Sure.
Now, so why is there abortion? Well,
because I'm going to give you the answer.
Okay.
Not that I'm agreeing with it, but the answer is because they have a choice. They have a choice to have sex and then, for whatever reason, not use contraceptions because they don't want to, whatever. And they have that choice
That's right.
Yeah, that's what it is. And let me ask you a question. You do have a caller coming in, but let me ask you this. We've spoken to a lot of people, Robin and I, and we've spoken to ladies who gave up their babies for adoption, who later on reconnected with their 35-year-old daughter, right? We had a lady like that. The daughter was now 35. She gave her up when she was a baby. This lady must have been then, 55 at least, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Well, maybe not even if she was really young when she got pregnant. It was the most loving thing she felt.
Sure.
The opposite is also true. The 55-year-old woman who... We had two stories. We had one story recently, Pastor. This lady didn't abort her baby. She was drinking heavily while she was pregnant. And now her 41-year-old baby is still a 5-year-old mentally.
Sure.
And so there's that problem, too. Do you want to...
Well, we don't put babies up for adoption. Throw that phrase out of your vocabulary. We place them in loving adoptive families. And as soon as the girl comes in, she gets to choose the family, and the family works with her and is with her all through the pregnancy. And so it's not some
They work together.
Thing. They work together.
Oh, nice.
And so it's not that she doesn't want the baby. It's that in her situation, she can't take care of it. And so there's an alternative apart from abortion. Right. And so it's a partnership. We'll be partnering with, it's called Bundles of Hope up in Jacksonville. And that's how you work. So she's not putting her baby up for adoption.
Okay.
She's placing her baby in a home, and she will have contact.
I clearly see the difference. And in fact, in my own family, I have that exact circumstance. I think twice, right? There's at least 2 examples in my family.
Of them adopting a baby, not putting them out for
and
adoption.
keeping in touch. In fact, the mother is still a vital role in the whole thing.
Why not?
As is the biological grandmother and the adoptive grandparents, I should say, right?
Yes.
Yeah, at least 2. All right, if you put your headset on, you'll be able to hear your caller. I don't really want to, for the listeners, I don't really want to debate abortion. I don't want to debate when life starts. This is not that conversation. But if you want to talk about the House of Onesiphorous or just anything else, you're welcome to do that. 622-9622. Good morning. You're on the air with Pastor Snyder. Are you there? Going once, going twice. Okay, there's nobody there. There's somebody there, but they're not talking. I mean, you can debate abortion all day long, but that's in our minds, your mind, my mind, Robin's mind. Abortion should never happen.
Well, here's my perspective, okay? One of my favorite authors is F.W. Borum from Australia, wonderful essayist. He said this here: if you want to prove that a stick is crooked, lay a straight one beside it, I don't have to jump on that crooked stick and say blah, 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 blah. And here is the thing. I want people to know what I am for, not what I'm against. If I know what you're for, I can figure out what you're going to be against. But if I know what you're against, I may never find out what you're for. And so abortion is not my subject. My subject is saving these young girls, providing them an alternative, putting some positivity into their lives that they don't have. The world doesn't offer that. And it'll be a Christian environment. And we're not a charity. We're a ministry. We don't take government funds,
Right.
And being a small church, we're doing more than we could ever possibly
How many
do.
girls will be able to be in the...
Well, in each house, this is our first house, in each house there will be 8 girls that we'll be able to take care of.
So let's just think about this. In the first house alone, in the first year alone, 15 years from now, there's going to be a 15-year-old child...
Absolutely.
...who lives because of what you've chosen to do. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, and there will also be, as we talked about, a good relationship between the birth mother, I mean, it's not that she's running away from her responsibilities. What it is that she is making a good choice for her baby, for herself.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that difference. Now if you put the headset on, I'm going to hold off on doing the commercial until we get the call in.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, that means you'll hear the caller. Good morning, you're on the air. Well, are you there? Hello? Going once, going twice? I don't know. I don't hear anybody at all. All right, we will take a little break and be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, Thursday, a cloudy day with showers and thunderstorms crossing the area, somewhat flooding downpours. It'll dry out late today, the high 66 to 70. Cloudy early Thursday night, then some clearing late and noticeably cooler with lows in the 40s to near 50. Friday, mostly sunny, high 64 to 68. And on Saturday, partly sunny, high 66 to 70. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Common wisdom suggests we all want partners who are healthy and in shape, but less than 1 out of 10 men and women said they'd actually dump somebody who was too athletic, likely because the perfect physique could signal a vanity problem. Like when you see a friend laughing or crying and you start to laugh or cry too. And now it's been proven dogs have emotional contagion too. Just the sight of devices like Nest Cam and Piper are often enough to scare off crooks who don't want to be caught on camera.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hi, this is Brad. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a pilot's license. This will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484.
20 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Pastor James Snyder is in the studio. He's the pastor of the Family of God Fellowship Church. He's an editor, he's an author, and a columnist, and of course the host of his radio show, Sunday Joy. And he's talking about a piece of good news for him and his church and his wife. We know we want to make sure that Martha gets mentioned here. She's an important part of this, obviously.
Absolutely.
And the House of Onesiphorous is going to help young women in our community who are at the end of their rope. They don't know what to do, and you're going to give them some extra rope, or however you want to, whatever metaphor you want to use.
New life.
And it's just not about helping the babies that will be born. It's about helping the girls. You're going to make sure they have schooling and a career direction.
Well, here's my philosophy. Any girl that comes in there and is under our ministry, so when she leaves, she will never need our ministry again. That's my goal. A lot of times these programs, they have repeat customers, if you want to call them that. And I think that's wrong. I think our job is to help her through this period and help her get into a lifestyle that is beneficial for her and family and so forth and so on. So when she leaves our facility, she won't need us ever again. That's our goal.
So the first girl moves in about a month, 2 months?
We don't know. I mean, if as soon as we get the occupancy permit and open it up, we could. I think last year I had a call from a 15-year-old girl in Texas, West Dallas area, and she was crying. She found out that she was pregnant, and she was 15. And here's what she said. Here was her story. If my church finds out that I'm pregnant, they will kick the whole family out.
Oh, my goodness.
And I know she wasn't being hysteric because I know
What kind of church is that?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. Wow.
And there are churches like that, you know.
Is there a God like that?
I don't think so.
So why would there be a church like that?
I can tell you that, but that's another show.
Yeah.
But I think as a Christian, as a church, as a fellowship, whatever, we should welcome people where they are with the intent of getting them to where they need to be. You know, you can't. A doctor, when a doctor takes a patient in, he doesn't take healthy patients in, but his goal is.
That's right.
His goal is for them to leave healthy. And so I want to take in girls that really have problems and all of that kind of stuff, and I hate to use the word fix them because that's, but get them on the right track and get them to see the Christian life, the real Christian life. Now there are two things, and they call America a Christian nation. Well, it's a religious nation. Okay, there's a difference between religion and Christianity. Always remember this: it was religion that crucified Jesus Christ. And we still have that religion in America today. They're judgmental and all of that kind of stuff. Remember what Jesus, the religious leaders brought this woman caught in adultery. Where the man was, who knows? Caught in adultery.
Right.
And religion said she had to be stoned.
Right.
And what did Jesus say after he got rid of all of the religious leaders? He said, woman, go and sin no more. And I think that should be our motto. You know?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what your sin is. For example, Jesus said this: "You have heard it said, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, if you look on a woman with lust in your heart, it's the same thing." You see.
Right.
And see, what we do is we have categories of sin. Well, my sin isn't quite as bad as your sin. Well, that's baloney. That's baloney. Sin is sin. People don't go to hell because they commit murder. They commit murder because down in their heart, they're sinful. There's a broken piece down in their heart. And there's no difference between somebody committing murder. Jesus said, "Thou shalt not commit murder," you've heard it said. "But I say unto you, if you have hate in your heart, you've already committed." How many people hate other people? They're murderers as far as God is concerned. So when these girls come in, they're going to come in broken. Paul said, I loved Onesiphorous because he was not ashamed of my chains. And so I want them to come in, and I want to, link by link, take all those chains off. And so when they leave our ministry, they will be godly women who will be a testimony to God.
We've had a few calls trying to get through. I don't know if there's something wrong with the phone lines or not, but if you're trying to call and you're not getting through, okay, let me see. Here we go again. Let me try this again. If you can put your headset on. Good morning. You're on the air with Pastor Snyder. I don't know what this is. It's like the seventh time. It's like the seventh time this happened. I don't know if there's something else. But anyway, the important thing is this conversation, and I'm glad it went the way it went, because it always goes by so fast.
It does.
All the conversations, especially with you, it's rather deep. Do you know, I like what you just said about religion versus Christianity. I've often said when somebody says they don't believe in Jesus, I'll say, well, what exactly did he say that you don't believe in? They don't even know what he said.
Well, somebody sent me a book from the town here, and I guess he's an atheist or something. I won't give the name of the title, give him any credit or not. But he tore down God, and I want to write back and I say, I agree with you. The God that you're talking about in that book, you know something? He does not exist. And so you've created a God, and you're beating him up. If only people could realize and know the real God through Jesus Christ. That's the thing. Religion, okay, I'm a pastor, so you've heard it from a pastor. Religion will keep you from Jesus Christ. And that's the terrible tragedy in our country today. That's why look at the problems that we have in our country. What would happen in our cities if there was a great move of God and people got right with God, got right with one another,
absolutely,
and became genuine Jesus Christian? What would happen in New York City?
We would all the locksmiths would go out of business.
The policemen would.
You wouldn't need. Well, you'd still need policemen for traffic jams and things.
Traffic jams, yeah. But Jesus is the answer. Religion is the problem.
Oh, I love that. I love that
wonderful
statement. It's excellent.
I'm going to try one more time. I think there's something up with the phone lines. Good morning. You're on the air. Not once. No, not at all. I don't know. I'll have to test it later on.
Gee.
Sorry for putting you through that. Congratulations on the House of Onesiphorous. That is outstanding.
And I appreciate all your support. This is the 19th year for the radio. Of course, we started when you were at the other radio station.
WTMC, yeah.
And that was 19 years ago.
And back then, all of your recordings were done paper to pencil to paper. And no, I'm teasing.
And we would go up there and record it, and reel to reel.
It was on quarter-inch tape.
Yeah.
And if you made a mistake, I had to get a razor blade. Yeah, I was the king.
Yeah, because
I was the king of editing tape. Yes.
And take out a syllable.
I could do that. Yes.
He showed me that. I remember that. I thought, oh my goodness, I hope he's not editing me.
Right.
And now you send us everything. It's all I have to do is insert the music and send it right back to you by computer.
But 19 years ago, and I'll be very quick, we gathered together in the church. What can we do to reach out in our community? And so several people said, well, we can do radio, and we can do a newspaper column, and that sort of, and then a couple other things. And so here's my way I do it. God, if you want me to do it, you have them call me. And within a week, the radio station up there called me. We offered a program.
Nice.
The newspaper out on top of the world called me and said, would you like to do
Oh, wow.
Oh, the Citizen. You're
now,
still there.
Now I'm in over 300 newspapers.
Gosh.
But that's how we got together. Yeah.
I love your show, by the way. I love Sunday Joy. It is one of my favorite shows. Even though I hear it here, when I hear it in my car, it's different because then I absorb it. Because here I'm kind of being a technician, I guess.
Yeah.
Pastor Snyder, we love you.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank me for coming.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for coming.
I need an editor here.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Some of Donald Trump's fellow White House contenders welcoming his decision not to take part in tonight's GOP debate on Fox News.
This is their last chance, in some cases, to make a final push before Monday night's caucuses. There still will be